The Upshur County Board of Education to order. We will begin with roll call.
Jan Craig.
Here.
Sherry Dean.
Here.
Susan King.
Here.
William Parker.
Present.
Roy Wager.
Here.
Christine Miller. Here. Tim DeRico.
Present.
April Sinek.
Present.
Sarah Wills.
Present.
Elaine Pugh.
Present.
Madam President, we do have a quorum and all have been accounted for.
Okay. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Mrs. King, will you lead us tonight, please?
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Wager, would you please read us the mission statement?
Ma'am. Upshur County Schools is committed to creating a united community for educational excellence.
You've been provided with an agenda. Are there adjustments or additions to the agenda?
No, ma'am, as presented.
I will accept a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Mr. Parker, second.
Second.
Mrs. Dean. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Information, we will start with delegations. As a reminder, Mrs. Sinek will be timing and you will have 5 minutes. At 1 minute, she will notify you that your time is about to expire. And we will begin with Cheyenne Troxel.
Hello, everyone.
It's not on. I think you need to flip it up.
There you go.
There you go.
To even consider closing Rock Cave Elementary School, in my view, is an act of pure negligence. The very board entrusted by the state to protect and represent the interests of our children and community is now poised to betray those responsibilities. This is not just a financial or administrative decision. It's a profound moral failing, one that will have lasting and irreversible consequences for the very people you are appointed to serve. Let us look at the immediate and practical dangers this closure will inflict on our children. If Rock Cave Elementary shuts its doors, many young students, some as young as 5, will be forced to endure daily transportation along over winding and potentially treacherous roads. Longer commutes means tired children. It means young kids waiting in the dark at bus stops, exposure to weather, and danger for traffic. This risk of accidents and injuries will increase, and we all know that emergencies in rural areas are not quickly or easily addressed. How would you feel if your 5-year-old had to be on a bus for almost an hour each way? No access to a restroom, having to wake up earlier and go to bed earlier after getting home later, all while being expected to academically perform at their best daily and punished if they don't. As working adults, you all aren't even held to these standards. So why are you making our kids be? They're already being exposed to a 9-hour workday, while most adults only endure 8, and this is somehow acceptable to add even more time away from their homes onto their day. As mentioned time and time again, the parking lot at French Creek is not capable of holding the capacity needed to safely drop off, pick up, and attend school activities. You claim that this would be addressed before the merger. How many millions of dollars is that going to cost? There is only a little over 40 spaces now for over 200 students, not even counting staff. Where do you plan to put all these spaces? The way the property lines fall, this isn't going to be possible and also extremely costly. How are you going to afford the renovations when you claim you don't have enough funds as it is? Have you already received estimates for this project? If so, how much was it quoted for? The next major safety concern is that you're wanting to take kids out of Rock Cave, which already has a safe entry installed, and move them into French Creek, which does not have one, costing even more money that you claim to not have. But we've clearly seen your all's true colors firsthand on how seriously you take safety, as we're all here pleading different cases from different parts of the county, and none of what we're saying is being put in action. When are our children going to be put first? The closure will also mean that our children will enter already crowded schools that are not prepared to absorb the influx. Overcrowded classrooms and hallways lead to less individual attention, more disciplinary issues, and greater risk of bullying and neglect. Teachers stretched beyond their limits will struggle to maintain order and safety. And let's not forget the health risk. Overcrowding exacerbates the spread of illness from seasonal flu and more serious outbreaks. Are we prepared to deal with more children getting sick, more absences, and additional strain on already limited healthcare resources? Closing Rock Cave is not just inconvenient, it's hazardous. How are you going to ensure that our children with health problems and disabilities aren't overlooked? We've clearly given you examples of many of children's medical needs. Can you sit here with confidence and tell us that they're not going to get overlooked when they're having a seizure that doesn't come with the typical movements, only a deep stare, all while trying to watch 25 plus other kids and administer the life-saving meds that they're required? How are you going to manage 33 kids in one school, all with IEPs, each requiring different techniques and levels of care? I can ask millions of questions over and over again. There is so much that could be considered over budgets and the welfare of our children being the priority. As citizens and taxpayers, we demand accountability. Our tax dollars have supported this school for generations. We have invested in its programs, its teachers, and its future because we know how vital it is to growth and safety of our children. To close it now is to waste that investment, to devalue our voices, and to diminish the real dangers and hardships that will follow. I urge the board to recognize the magnitude of the decision before you. If you move forward with the closure, you're not just shutting down a building, you are abandoning your duty, risking our children's safety, health, and future. Let the school remain open, let it continue to be a beacon of hope and learning and security for our community. Do not let negligence replace responsibility. Stop making our children pay for the actions of previous administration, and stop putting their safety and well-being on the back burner. Our schools, communities, and most importantly, our children deserve better. Do better.
Thank you. Autumn Loudon.
My name is Autumn Loudon, and in the opening of Rock Cave's public hearing, Ms. Miller stated that our school is more than just a building and that the community's needs were being taken seriously. However, closing remarks focus solely on financial considerations, leading our county to feel that this decision has already been predetermined. I sincerely hope, for everyone's sake, especially Upshur County students and for your all's here, that that's not true. I sound like a broken record, but while French Creek Elementary is the school I went to and loved growing up, and I care deeply for a lot of its staff and current students, it's just not equipped to handle a significant increase in enrollment. With the lack of parking, I am telling you, it's only a matter of time before someone gets hurt or killed. No school should be closed until this issue is fixed. My question at the public hearings were answered. With the classrooms being at capacity, if Rock Cave or French Creek District students try to enroll mid-school year, what is the contingency plan for students who attempt to enroll when there is no remaining space? Will they be redistricted to 10 or 10? Will we have 28 plus students in the classroom? I feel like the public needs to know this, and both of those solutions are avoidable. Plan for Upshur's rising future and don't close Upshur schools. In my other ramblings, I talk about transportation. I'm sure there's more, but I know of at least 2 Rock Cave children who already have to commute to their bus stops before the bus ride to school because their bus doesn't go down the road. As they're one of the first ones to get on their buses, and both of those buses will need waivers, they then will have a 45-minute bus ride at least to French Creek on top of that. And again, due to weather, bus driver shortages, traffic, our buses have been known to be 15 plus minutes late, at least 8 to 15 times a year. And I'm sure other Southern Upshur buses are the same. How can anyone be okay with young children being on buses that long or putting that kind of strain on Upshur County's kids morning and evening, especially the younger ones with health issues and IEPs? It blows my mind and it disgusts me. Before immediately resorting to closing schools, I believe all alternative methods to save funds and offset costs should be exhausted first. That would prove to our county that you are at least trying to make sure our kids' safety and education is valued more than money. I have been hearing about this new middle school that the Board of Education has been wanting to build since I was in middle school 20 years ago, and yet I do not recall any fundraising happening for this new school, not once. No collecting change at stoplights, no beef stick sales, no swimsuit car washes by the board. I've paid for that twice myself from some previous school members. Our community is eager to help. At our school in particular, we are allowed to do so many amount of fundraisers per year split between school scholarship and our PTO. We don't use half of those fundraisers, and I doubt other schools do either. Why can't the Board of Education do a fundraiser or 2 at each school? Our small school's most successful bingo raised over $8,000 at our tiny little school. A A school in Fairmont is doing a Race for Education fundraiser, and it's already raised over $15,000. And it's still going strong. I would personally volunteer to help fundraising efforts from Rock Cave for the Board of Education if Rock Cave remains open. It wouldn't be a huge dent in your coffers, but it would be a start in the right direction for an honest dollar. Next, while selling or timbering is a one-time solution, as Miller stated, we could pursue other sustainable revenue-generating options, like leasing the unused properties to farmers, hunters, or businesses, implementing a continuous sustainable forestry program, start a forestry and a carpentry trade program, and use said timber. We could even use those trades and others to build parts of the new middle school, free labor, exploring cost-saving methods like truly growing our own food. My point is, there are numerous alternatives that could be explored if the community is given the time, support, and effort from the state and our county's Board of Education. This wasn't even half of my ideas. I keep schedule a meeting for us to throw ideas back and forth, and I will fill your heads with so many ideas we'll have to duct tape my mouth. I want to believe that you want what is best for our county. However, everything with wanting to close down our schools, past Board of Education mistakes, the current situation at Hodgesville, and how everything's been handled in general since the state takeover has completely imploded Upshur County schools from the inside out and deeply eroded community trust in both the state board and the local Board of Education. Give us a reason to trust you and our local board again. If you stop chasing us off and let us all put a joint effort into our schools together, I feel in my heart enrollment would go back up to, for all of Upshur County schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Natasha Davis.
They're too hard acts to follow, so I won't hold up to them. My name's Natasha Davis. I've been an active parent volunteer at Rock Cave Elementary School for over a decade. I'm also now a substitute employee for Upshur County Schools. I'm speaking again to voice our community's opposal to closure and would like to offer some alternatives to consider. Across the state, counties are facing the same problem of decreasing enrollments in public schools. Parents are not happy with the current model, and this is not about teachers, it's the system. The system needs to change as a whole to make parents want to use public education again. Upshur County has the opportunity to do just that. Instead of closing Rock Cave Elementary and selling the property, let's use it as a pilot program. Let's make people want to come to Upshur County for the education again. Rock Cave could be the start of a Montessori-style, multi-age classroom-based model. No public options like that exist around us at the moment, and plenty of people privately pay for that type of school model. Upshur County could be the first, and we could lead the way. Or Rock Cave could be the location for an alternative school, an adult learning center, even a handicap accessible location for a new and improved Board of Education building. We need to look at ways to keep our school open, first of all. Second of all, if there's a way to keep the property for our community, we need to look at that as well, because like we said at the previous meeting, that's the heart of Rock Cave. We use that for everything. We're at that school way more than just school days. So I ask you all to consider these options. Please keep Rock Cave open, or at least be open to other solutions.
Thank you. Delora Brown.
Hi, my name's Delora Brown. I didn't have a written speech. I have some cards, and you've seen me 2 days in a row pretty much. I agree with everything that was said about keeping it open. As I said before, I went to school, Rock Cave, my son went to school, my aunt worked there. I have personal reasons, obviously, legacy reasons for wanting to keep it open. Just as an observation, you all were at the meeting the other night at Rock Cave. There was 48 people spoke. We were only 15 minutes short of having a filibuster to have this start over again. With that being said, that's the students, the teachers, the community, the outpouring of support can't be denied. And like she so eloquently put it, Rockhaven School is used for everything. It's the heart of Rockhaven. By shutting that down, you have, denied not only the community, the kids, the education, the longer trips back and forth to school, the extra time, and with overloading French grade, with the class sizes being that large, if there's any type of an emergency there, the egress to get the kids out of the rooms to get them outside is going to be an additional safety concern that I didn't hear anybody address. That's going to be another whole problem along with the parking and somebody get hurt in the parking lot. Not to make light of this board by any means, but I feel that you guys don't have, for lack of a better word, a dog in the fight. We voted for our people to speak for us. When this is all over, the interim board will go its separate ways, and we are kind of stuck here holding what decisions are being made. With being a taxpayer, Upshur County resident, I feel that we should have a voice before that ever happens. I don't have a child right now in the school system. I got 71 adopted ones. I'm here on their behalf. I think there's money that could be utilized, rearranged, with this board and not our board making the decision. I do think it's a conflict of interest. I think that it puts the Upshur County Board of Education even at another disadvantage after we're trying to build everything back up. The students at the school have outdone themselves this past year. You've heard them say attendance was up, they've excelled, and then they've done all this, and then you close the school. What's that saying to the community? What's that saying to the kids? I've worked this hard, nobody cares. I can't believe that's true. You don't know what funding you need. You really don't know what funding's coming in. On the way to work today, lottery sales is up 63% overall. So I thought, okay, I'll do some checking. Lottery last year for West Virginia produced $1.3 billion. Sales has already passed that this year. That's extra funding nobody counted on. You don't know that this time next year that maybe the coal industry picks back up, that the logging picks back up, oil and gas picks back up, and people will move back in Upshur County, and it increases your numbers to the school. If the numbers of students equals the number of money, you can't predict that. You can't predict that it won't go up. I've already addressed my safety concerns. My next question was, why right now? You can't table this for a year. You know, somebody had said that right now you do have an influx of funding. We have not touched upon restitution for the misappropriation of funds that can pay to help keep Rockhaven School open. And I know I'm old, but whatever happened to school bonds, where you could sell school bonds to where we could fund Rockhaven and keep it open? There's some unnecessary spending. There could be spending cuts. Not necessarily salaries, but I think there's another way to resolve this that's not closing Rockhaven School.
Thank you. I have a Karen CB, and I will need a last name. Karen CB. Oh, okay.
Karen Carla.
Oh,
Or was
I will delete you. How's that, Karen? Sarah Collins.
Good afternoon, I'm here again, just to see ya, so that way you can hear my voice to say Rock Cave still wants to stay open. We have great kiddos that are showing up every day, making our attendance great. Given we have sickness as well, but we're able to nip it because we're smaller. We can clean a little deeper and make sure that those germs are gone and not spreading around. Just because we can have 28 in a classroom doesn't mean we should. It's not best practice. Kids learn on a more individualized base. We need to keep Rock Cave open so these kids can be in our schools, getting 2 free meals a day, and have the teachers there teaching them. Their in-person learning is important. We need to stop pushing virtual school and have our children in our school buildings. Thank you.
Thank you. Jenny Davidson?
Good evening, I'm Jenny Davison. I'm here talking to you as a parent this evening. And I'm gonna direct this with Ms. Sherry just for a little comic relief for a minute, but, because you were stuck working with my dad for about 20 years. But the other day, I walked in the house and I said, Dad, I brought you some T&L hot dogs. And he said to me, well, I sure appreciate it, but I'm not real hungry right now. Could you just give me the money and I'll buy some later? But the reason I tell you that is actually to lead into one of my purposes for being here tonight. I don't know how many folks were able to see Deborah Sullivan's opinion article in the West Virginia Gazette Mail, but and having come to board meetings several times, Mr. Parker, would you think that Upshur County Schools, or any of my fine folks up here, do you think that Upshur County Schools would pay for any of my girls? I got 3 of them sitting there, one will be pre-K next year. Do you think that Upshur County Schools would issue a check to me so that I can take them to Italy? Or perhaps buy them kayaks? Just my girls, nobody else's. Or to buy them zoo tickets or skateboards and scooters, pay for things like, no joke, Italy excursions. I think we all know the answer to that is a very hard no. And that is what brings me here. The Hope Scholarship, which was pushed very hard by a legislator that is no longer in office in this district, managed to push through a lot of legislation for charter schools, for the Hope Scholarship, and it is crippling public education, including in Upshur County, West Virginia. It pays tuition to non-accredited schools that are out of state. We're taking West Virginia school money, we're writing checks, and we're sending it to states all over the place, anywhere but here. There's some that go here, but there's a whole bunch of money going out. That's closing Rock Cave. That's closing Tennerton. That's gonna close our middle school. That's what's happening. And I'm here to share that burden and that plea for everybody to be active and aware and mindful of the importance of participating in the legislative process. But this year, the Hope Scholarship is hurting us, and I know that. Next year, it's looking to skyrocket. And it has no income gaps for families. Or income caps, I'm sorry. There's no limit on the amount of funds families can receive annually or over time. No fixed state budget. It can just keep spending. Upshur County Schools, I'm gonna ask you this. Do you have that kind of license to just spend money until you're blue and just write out checks? No cap. But despite the urgent need, and I'm quoting a lot of this, despite the urgent need to determine whether children are indeed prospering from this new educational experiment being the Hope Scholarship, there's no requirement that they take the same standardized tests that public school students take. We have to make sure our kids are performing well. Other kids that are taking the public school money, and it's a lot of the times parents who didn't have a child in school to begin with are taking that money now. And I'm going to shorten this drastically because I only have a minute left. one of my concerns is with Rock Cave, if there's a wealthy person that has their own interests at hand, like they know that they could take charter school money, or sorry, Hope Scholarship money, purchase a school like Rock Cave, and then open a non-accredited charter school, hire teachers that are only required to have a GED. I worked a long time to get my master's degree and make sure I'm a highly qualified teacher in Upshur County to take care of our kids. But I just hope that we can do whatever we can to get the word out. I do want to share that I'm working with, well, they contacted me, but it's Together for Public Schools West Virginia. We're hoping to have a town hall in Upshur County to try to get the word out and help people understand, because I think a whole lot of people don't understand why we're getting put in the shape we're in. And it's really bad, and it's looking real bad. And if, I wish I could share more. I have some really good stuff, but
Thank
for
you.
your time.
Thank you, Jen.
Abigail Jeffries.
Good evening. My name is Abigail Jeffries, and I'm continuing my comments and concerns from the Rock Cave Elementary School closure hearing that was held on Thursday, November 13, 2025. Regarding my concerns of legalities, I'm just commenting that the most blatant misrepresentation in the impact statement is who proposed the closure of Rock Cave Elementary School and who will be voting on the school closure. All wording in the impact statement references the county BOE as initiator and final decision makers, when the closure was proposed solely by the state-appointed superintendent with the state BOE voting. This is a gross misrepresentation in the disclosure of public information to the people of Upshur County. Mr. Cummings' explanation of the past deficit and the West Virginia Department of Education's expectations regarding unrestricted funds was helpful. During his comments, he also pointed out the fact that the levy did not pass. I believe everyone in this room knows all too well just exactly why that levy didn't pass. And I believe I'm confident that time will heal those wounds and a levy will pass again in the future. I do not believe that that would be the case if schools are closed, particularly if they are closed in a forceful manner by the state DOE with no input from our county board representatives. I do have questions regarding the current fiscal responsibility of a state-appointed superintendent reflected in BOE minutes for August 12, 2025, item 6 under next steps. Hire an architect for planning and services for construction for Buchanan Academy. Was money spent to hire that architect? If so, how much? Superintendent Miller responded to questions of options other than the closure of Rock Cave Elementary being explored by stating that closure of other schools, Hodgesville, Washington District, Tennerton, had been explored. I would just like the record to reflect that we do not find the closure of any school to be an acceptable option. Superintendent Miller also commented that the sale of property the county owns would just be a one-time influx of revenue. We realize that, but that revenue would allow more time and opportunity to find budgetary solutions other than closures. It was announced earlier this month that First Energy plans to build a natural gas plant in Harrison County, with plans to be filed with the West Virginia Public Service Commission in early 2026. Over 3,260 construction jobs are expected to be created, and is also estimated to support 2,000 plus jobs when in operation at the plant and in West Virginia's natural gas industry. These jobs will likely create population growth in Upshur County as we offer an affordable cost of living. There is also an article written by Lori Kersey from October 1st, 2025, where West Virginia Board of Education President Paul Hardesty is quoted to say, ... on public education, I think they played a little heavy-handed and they've got some unintended consequences from their actions, which is what she was referring to. The they he is referring to is the West Virginia legislature. In the same article, Delegate Joe Ellington, who is the chairman of the House Education Committee, said through a House spokeswoman that, quote, it's too early to say, end quote, if lawmakers will address the school funding formula during the next legislature session, quote, but we have spent a good deal of time looking at the formula, and it's possible the Public Education Subcommittee may have some discussions about it before the regular legislative session, Ellington said. I'm submitting both articles with my comments. The closure of Rock Cave Elementary is proposed for future budgetary concerns due to trends and hypotheticals. Why don't we allow time for the possibility that there will be positive improvements and upward trends? A school can be closed at a later time, but is most likely never to reopen once closed. Closing Rock Cave Elementary and merging with French Creek Elementary would definitely cause detriment to students at both schools and to the entire Rock Cave community. Let's err on the side of positive caution and keep Rock Cave Elementary open. Thank you for your time, respectfully.
Thank you. That concludes our delegations. We will now go to superintendent's update.
I have nothing for this evening. I have nothing for this evening.
Okay. Board member committee meeting updates. Mr. Parker?
The Stockard Youth Center Committee has not met, so I have no updates for that board.
Okay. Mrs. King?
Yeah, Parks and Rec won't meet until January.
Okay. Mr. Wager?
I left it in the car.
Okay, do you have a synopsis you can give us?
What I'm trying to remember the things. There wasn't much on the agenda for that, so,
Okay.
no. Sorry, I apologize.
Mrs. Dean?
The library board will meet tomorrow.
And the 4-H Foundations has not met. You've been provided the minutes from the previous meeting of November the 4th. Please review it, and I will entertain a motion to accept those minutes as presented.
So moved.
Mr. Parker, second.
Second.
Mrs. Dean, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I thought they were very good minutes. We have an agreement. The superintendent recommends or respectfully requests approval of the agreement with Marshall University's Department of Counseling for the completion of a practicum for 2026.
Yes, this is the same agreement that we did last year for a couple of other folks who are trying to gain their counseling credentials so that they can serve in public schools. So this is the exact same agreement, just with a different person.
And it has been approved through the state
It has been
previously.
approved, yes.
Financial.
I think Mr.
Do you have a
Did the
question?
State approved just the form, agreement to form, since the copy I had really had no information completed whatsoever.
Yes, they agree to the form. It is actually a state-generated form that higher ed institutions use, Mr.
Okay.
Parker.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Financial, you've been provided with the check register.
I have 3 items that I've made copies, to give to you after the meeting. But the first one is check number 100662. The checks for West Virginia University as it relates to the extension service that we're required to pay. But the purchase order is from Amazon that's attached to the check. One of the others is Charleston Filter Service, check numbers 100637. Purchase order is dated November the 3rd, 2025. The service started in July. Invoice covers July, August, September type invoices. It's totals $12,707. The purchase order is for $40,000. I'm just wondering why it's so late on the purchase order. But we're spending money before it's encumbered. The next one is a long.
We have an answer for you on that one.
It was a contractual issue. The Charleston Filter Service has been servicing our filters for HVAC systems throughout the county. I'm going to say in the neighborhood of close to 20 years.
Right.
The issue became with the contract renewal and the timing of that renewal, and it was just on your previous agenda here a couple weeks ago, and those invoices were predated, or we were being billed for a service that they were providing before we had a contract. And I will go as far as to say that they serviced our filters for one entire year without charging us, or longer. I'm not totally sure what that time frame was with requests, and then they changed ownership was part of the issue.
Okay. The other one is along the same line, much bigger numbers involved. Best Life Therapy, LLC. The purchase order is for $295,000. Again, it was after the fact. This invoice is for October, just October services, totals $105,169.40. I'm assuming this will be ongoing similar amounts.
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, it will be, and that goes back to the inability for us to be able to secure certified personnel to handle the positions that they are covering for us. It is a large expense. I wish there was someone else that we could go to, but we have not been able to successfully locate another vendor that would be able to provide those services to us at a cheaper cost.
Yeah, it looks, from my understanding, for all the services related to the special education department,
Yes, sir.
speech, occupational therapy, etc.
Yes, sir.
Is this one of the contributing factors to pulling back the SBA project?
Yes, yes, sir, it is. In fact, it is a very large factor.
Yeah, because this, if these expenditures continue at this level, we're looking over $1,200,000.
They may be increasing. It depends on the numbers of students that are going through the current evaluation process and those that would then need to have services rendered for the areas that they do qualify for.
And did our department not know this, where we could know this expenditure was this amount of expenditure? Charleston Filter Service, I understand that contract, and that total amount is at $40,000. This is going to be well in excess of $1 million, maybe approaching $1.5 million or more. I'm concerned if we had an idea this was happening, did we include this in our budget?
Yes, some of those numbers are included in our budget, based off like historically what we had kind of spent in the past. Maybe not to the extent that we're getting this year so far, but we did have numbers included.
Okay.
And I can, unfortunately, the state funding and the federal funding that we receive in special education does not begin to cover anything basically beyond salaries of those that we do have employed. It's becoming very cost prohibitive, but there are some ideas that have been brought forth to share. In fact, we shared yesterday with some legislators at a meeting about looking at this continued cost increase for all counties across the state that are getting ourselves into this because we cannot locate those certified personnel that could, in essence, save us money.
Yeah, I mean, it's, as I understand it, most, if not all, of this will be local funding.
Yes, sir.
And I'm concerned that we find this out after the fact, you know, not saying whether Tenderton was good, bad, or indifferent, but this was a major factor in pulling back that SBA
Yes.
application.
Yes.
I'm distressed about that, to say the least.
I also, Mr. Parker, have already spoken with Mrs. Miller about this because I'm looking to see if we can find anybody besides Best Life Therapies that can provide those services. An occupational therapy bill for $19,000 for a month worth of services, multiply that by 10, we can hire an occupational therapist that is providing hands-on services as opposed to, but we can't find somebody is the problem. I mean, that,
service people.
You're speaking about money that, and these are required things because they are in IEPs that require that those services be provided.
No, I'm not saying not to cut the services
Right.
at all, we're required
Yeah.
to
Right.
provide these
No
services,
choice.
most definitely. I would have spoken to the superintendent earlier myself, but I've been put in timeout chair. I'm not allowed to communicate to the superintendent unless it's through Mr. Kelly.
Well, I mentioned it to her when we got here this evening because it's on page 27 if you all want to look at it, of what Best Life Therapies, and I have nothing against Best Life Therapies. I work with them when I work through the school system. It's not that, but their prices just continue to increase and increase. And I don't know how we can afford to continue at this rate.
Right.
Because it's eating into what our contingency fund is, that we're supposed to be holding 16% approximately for emergencies. That's where this money is coming from to pay for this. So our contingency fund for next year is going to be nil if we continue.
Well, it's not a matter of whether we have to continue the
We don't have a
service, no
choice.
matter how cost
Yes.
efficiently,
Right,
I have no choice.
but we need to look,
which drives other decisions.
right, but we need to look seriously at whether we offer a bonus to come on as an occupational therapist. I would rather have a hands-on occupational therapist in the county that's providing those services to the students as opposed to
We have
a
one.
virtual.
We have one, but we needed another one due to.
Yeah.
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 Yep. Yes.
Are there any other questions on financials?
No, that's all the questions I had.
I would like the special ed department to look very hard at what services we're providing. I don't want to cut any child services, don't get me wrong, but we need to look very hard at what services we are providing. Student matters, personnel and legal matters. Personnel, please.
Yes, you have the list attached to the agenda this evening. You can see that unfortunately, we lost 3 very good teachers, 2 in mathematics. One good piece of information is we were able to secure a CTR, which is a student teacher in residence from Fairmont State University that has passed all of her mathematics exams that are required through Praxis. So when she comes to us, she will be able to go to Buchanan Upshur Middle School in place of Mr. Mauser. She will be assigned a mentor in the school as well as someone from the university, so she will be watched just like those that we accept from West Virginia Wesleyan. Mr. Kolaw went to another county. He moved up. He became an assistant principal in his home county. And Mr. Fitzwater, I can't remember exactly why he left us, but he did go for another opportunity. We did have some resignations of service personnel. We did employ a classroom substitute teacher, which is good for us. We also are employing service personnel substitute aide. We did change some things with athletics, with assistant softball at Buchanan Upshur High School and also volunteer boys basketball here at the high school. I did have an opportunity before the meeting started to go in and watch practice a little bit, and I gotta say, we have some rather tall young men in there, so hopefully we're gonna have a successful season this year. I look forward to it. Extracurricular employment, we have several folks that have stepped up to become tutors as well as transportation aides. And then we do have one transfer. As you all know, we had a retirement with our English as a second language teacher. Nikki Reynolds, who currently teaches Spanish here at the high school, is the successful candidate for that position. We also have a couple of service personnel transfers where we are transferring from a special ed multi-cat autism position to Washington District. And then we have someone who went from a custodian at BUHS to our mechanics position of the transportation department. We continue to have volunteers approved. That process seems to be going much faster than it was at the beginning. We do have an additional requests for leave, as you can see there on our agenda this evening.
Do we have any choice in not releasing people?
Yes, ma'am. We do.
I hate to lose
Code-
2 math teachers.
Code does prevent us. We do not keep people if they're moving up. Mr. Mauser left education altogether. Mr. Fitzwater, I'm sorry, but I just can't remember why he left, but we do hold.
Okay.
We do hold. In code, it also does not permit us to move special education or kindergarten aides until a semester due to the ages of the students and the disruption that can cause. So yes, code does prevent that.
Future meetings, we will have a meeting here, a special meeting on November the 20th at 5:30 with the State Department for the Rock Cave closure hearing finality or vote, and a regular meeting on December 2nd and December 16th here at Buchanan Upshur High School. Both of those latter meetings will be at 6 o'clock. The November 20th meeting is at 5:30, if you will note that. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Parker, second, Mrs. Dean. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 6:46.